Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our April 13th, 2021 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. It's a pleasure to be here with you all, and I appreciate everybody in attendance. At this time, I'd like to call this, sorry, Clerk Barger, give me just a minute. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Madison County Fiscal Court will be video conferencing the Fiscal Court meeting live on the Madison County, Kentucky Facebook page and local Spectrum TV channel 377 in compliance with the Office of the Attorney General's Opinion 20-05. Clerk Barger, if you will, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds.
Present.
Master Berger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Bakken.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. Next is our prayer and our pledge. I'm going to ask our Master of the 2nd District, Roger Barger, to lead us in prayer. Good morning, Roger.
Good morning. Let us pray. Father, thank you for all the blessings that you bestow upon us each and every day. God, as we go through this fiscal court meeting, we ask for your guidance and direction as we make decisions for our county. Father, we pray that you will be with us, be with the ones that are in need, comfort them in their times of need. Father, we ask for your protection on the ones that protect us. I pray these things in the precious name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Roger. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Would please stand, face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Members of the court, y'all had a chance to look over our fiscal court meeting minutes from March 23rd, 2021. At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
All right, I have a motion by Master Reynolds. Second, Roger.
So moved.
I have a second by Roger. Any discussion? All right, seeing none. Clerk Barger, please call the roll.
Master Reynolds.
Yes.
Master Berger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Bakken.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Our treasurer's report is always on our 4th Tuesday, so that'll be at our next fiscal court meeting. I want to give a shout out to our Leadership Madison County group. That's where actually Colleen is today. They're all at the JIC, out at the Joint Information Center out on Keeneland Drive. Today is County Day. So if they're able to be watching, they're learning about county government today, and just want to give them a shout out and thanks for their leadership and being willing to be part of the Madison County leadership group. Today's first order of business is an update on our Kit Carson Commons project. And we have our very own Vicki Josefowitz with us. We discussed the Kit Carson Commons. I think Master Tudor asked for an update, maybe at our last meeting or a couple meetings ago when we were approving, I think, a pay application for that project. And so we have Vicki here today with us to give us an update on how this project is going. Good morning, Vicki. It's good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. I'm very happy to talk about Kit Carson Commons. The project is probably about 80% finished, and I did send a little one-pager on the entire project, but let me quickly go through it again. The official name of the project is the Workforce Pathway at Kit Carson Commons. It was funded as one of the first projects that Kentucky Housing Corporation funded as an innovative project. And it's innovative because it's actually 2 projects in one. The first part is that there are 30 units of housing, 2 and 3 bedrooms, with the priority going for single parent veterans who are going to college. The second priority is single parents who are going to college. If you're familiar with the Eastern Scholar House project that Kentucky River Foothills operates on campus, there's 39 two-bedroom apartments there for single parents that are going to college. And we often have a waiting list for those projects. For those apartments, we only have two-bedroom units there. So sometimes we get families that might have 2 or 3 children and they're a little crowded in those units. So it'll be nice for them to be able to live at Kit Carson Commons instead. The second component of Kit Carson Commons is where the Madison County Fiscal Court support came into play, and that is for a workforce training center. And it is aimed at anybody in the community, primarily low-income people that are seeking careers in industry, manufacturing, shipping, and warehousing. So it's kind of that chain of getting things made and delivered. The program will be largely taught by EKU Workforce Development and also by Skills U, which used to be called Adult Ed. And traditionally, when we think of adult ed, we think of people getting a GED. Adult ed has evolved into being called Skills U, and there's other services provided by that organization. And one is a soft skills curriculum and certification. When we first started planning for Kit Carson Commons, we had some focus groups with HR staff from industries throughout Madison County. And they said that they can teach technical skills once they get employees in, but their problem was soft skills. People don't know how to get along with each other. They don't have a good plan for what happens when the car breaks down or the babysitter shows up or the school age child is sick. So it's just working with people on the soft skills. So where the fiscal court came in and where that you've been approving some pay receipts for us is that city and the county partnered with the county as the lead organization to secure a $250,000 non-traditional economic development grant that went to Kit Carson. So, it is a partnership with the county and the city, but the county was the lead on the grant. There's 3 buildings that compose this project. They're located on the corner of Kit Carson and Lancaster. If you've driven by there, you probably have seen a development going up. We're right up the hill from the solar farm, and we'll actually benefit from the solar farm being there. The project will open in June with some apartments. Other apartments will come on in July and August. The building with the Workforce Training Center, where the money that you got for us is going to be used, will be the last that will open, and it will open in September. So the Workforce Training Center is made up of 2 classrooms. They're normal size classrooms. If you went into a college and you were in a classroom about that size, then one of them is a huge room. It will seat 200 people. So we decided we'll call that our symposium room. And then there's also going to be a small conference room if we want to do mock interviews with the participants, as well as access to some computer equipment, copy and fax capabilities. So we're very excited, and I wish you all would come visit. We could plan a group tour, or pretty much if you want to show up at 11:30 on any day, Monday through Friday, that's when they stop for lunch. And I can let the foreman know there that there could be a member of the fiscal court showing up at any time at 11:30 for a little visit there. Now, if you go by yourself, it's a self-guided tour, and you'll just have to kind of guess at what everything is, but I think it's quite obvious what's a classroom and what's an apartment. But if any of you want me to meet you either individually or as a group, I'd be glad to show you around, because it's not just our facility, it's yours too, and without you, it wouldn't be what it is. Are there any questions that I can answer about Kit Carson Commons?
Thank you so much, Vicki, for the update. The construction's going along really well. The buildings are absolutely gorgeous. So I look forward to the day that we can tour it, and hopefully we could schedule that where the fiscal court members, and once it maybe gets a little farther along, we could tour it. John Tudor?
Judge, just want to thank Vicki for coming in and sharing with us. I was kind of interested on how this project was going. I said I'm the one who requested her coming in and sharing a little with us, and I appreciate that today, Vicki. It sounds good. We're able to tour that at 11:30 on any given day and meet out there while the crew's on lunch, and look forward to doing that. I've seen the pictures, finished pictures. The buildings are beautiful. I'm sure they're going to be that great on the inside, and it's going to be very beneficial not only for the county but the surrounding community with skills and the training that they're going to do out there. And I was glad to hear you say that they're going to have soft skill training. A lot of these kids grow up without any training on just basic skills anymore, and knowing how to get along in society, and soft skills come in handy as we train them in the workforce and are out there. So thank you so much, and I look forward to touring it in your future. Thank you, Vicki.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me be here.
Tom Bakken?
Vicki, I was just curious if you said the symposium room would sit 200 people. Is the soft skills just for the people that are in those quarters, or is there another way for folks to get into that?
No, sir. Actually, the housing component and the workforce training, which includes the soft skills, is entirely separate projects. The people who go through the workforce training will not live on site. There could be people living on site who are going to college that might want to pick up some of the various certifications that will be available. Because in addition to soft skills and then OSHA, things that are more formalized, we're also going to be teaching CPR, first aid. So no, it is open to the community for the soft skills, so we can accommodate. And 200 people is a lot of people that we could get in a room. Not right now, but hopefully. I like to think that COVID is receding a little bit, and maybe there's hope someday for us to get back to normal. But certainly, we could see 50 people in a room intended for 200 safely as soon as it opens.
So does that mean that you are the contact person for a registration process?
Currently, I am. That will be phased over to another staff person once we get open, but it's going to be up to me to get things running, and then we'll transfer it. So for the time being, yes.
Good. Do you have applicants already?
We have, not for the job training, workforce training components, we do have some applicants for the housing. We still have more units available. We've started filling those. So the first people should move in June.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tom. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you so much, Vicki, for being on here today. It's always a pleasure to see your smiling face. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Vicki.
Real quick, so I don't forget, we are going to amend the agenda, so I would take a motion in a second to amend the agenda on item 8 on your agenda, personnel. We won't be, we're going to be striking through that. Can I get a motion in a second to strike through number 8 on the agenda? Tom Bakken. So, Kenny, I believe that was a motion. And John Tudor?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bakken?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, thank you all very much. Next, a proclamation for Fair Housing Month. And I believe we have Ms. Tina Kane on with us today. Whereas fair housing is a right protected by federal and state laws, and whereas housing discrimination is illegal. And whereas fair housing means persons may freely choose a place to live without regard to race, color, religion, sex, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or because persons are disabled or have children in the family. And whereas fair housing laws apply to persons viewing or renting an apartment, viewing or purchasing a home, applying for and securing a home loan, or purchasing homeowners or renters insurance. And whereas we recognize the need for community education and awareness of fair housing for all Madison Countyans. Now, therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2021 as Fair Housing Month. Ms. Tina Kane, can you hear me?
I hear you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing really good.
Good.
Thanks for being on with us today. Do
You're welcome.
you have any additional comments or?
No, this is because of the grant that Vicki was talking about. The Department for Local Government, wants all grantees to do something for fair housing. And this is what the county decided they wanted to do, is to proclaim April as Fair Housing Month.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here today.
Okay.
Have a great day. John
You too.
Tudor?
I didn't have anything, just tell Vic or Tina, appreciate her coming on and proclaiming today or April Fair Housing Month. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Tina. Next is Resolution 2021-39. This is our rural secondary program for fiscal year 2022. We'll have Willie read our resolution, and then we have some of our Transportation District 7 colleagues on with us. We have Fred, and Shane, and Casey. Welcome, guys. Appreciate y'all being on with us today.
Thank you, Judge. Thanks for having us.
We'll get to you all in just a second after we read the resolution. Willie?
Resolution 2021-39. A resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to vote on the recommended use of FY 2022 Rural Secondary Program funding, whereas the Rural Secondary Program was established as a mechanism for funding for roads classified as rural secondary under the state primary road system, and whereas each fiscal year funds are allocated to the Rural Secondary Program as authorized in Kentucky Revised Statutes sections 177.320 through 177.360, and whereas these statutes delineate that the funds shall be used for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of secondary and rural roads in each county, and whereas the roads being recommended for the 2022 fiscal year are Kentucky 2881 Cal East Road, Kentucky 1016 Estill Street, and Kentucky 499 Crooksville Road. And whereas the road being recommended for the use of flex funds for the 2022 fiscal year is Kentucky 876 Barnes Mill Road, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to vote as follows. Number one, does the Fiscal Court accept recommended routes for the use of FY 2022 rural secondary funding? Yes or no? Number two, does the Fiscal Court wish to apply flex funds to a state-maintained roadway? Yes or no? Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorize the Judge Executive to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Willie. Do I have a motion and a second? And then we'll get into discussion and let Casey and Fred say any words or present to us in any way. Actually, you know what? It might be better. Casey, why don't you and Fred and Shane go ahead and talk about it, and then because it might be important for y'all to do that before we actually take the vote.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and thank you.
Casey. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Judge. Yeah, and thanks for that resolution. That actually saved me from describing what the rural secondary program is about. So I appreciate that. That really makes things go a little quicker. But yeah, we have we do have 3 recommendations, as was pointed out: Cal East Road, SL Street, and Crooksville Road. But that is for the general rural secondary funds. And then also with the flex funds, the rural secondary roads in Madison County, based on the maintenance ratings, it did score a B, so it does allow the state to share 20% of the rural secondary funds. Of course, it is flex, so the county can, and if they wish, put those flex funds onto Barnes Mill Road, which would be the recommendation if the court decides to. But otherwise, it's really up to the court to decide on whether they want to hold on to those funds for maintenance of their county roads. The funds can be applied for edge of pavement resurfacing projects only. So, but that is up to the court. And we are projecting about $284,516 of flex funds that would be available for the county. Grant, these are projections, and these numbers probably look very similar to what you actually received last year. So, so we are being a little bit conservative this time around because we did run short last year. But the people out in Frankfurt, they've been crunching the numbers for the projections for this coming fiscal year, and they have found an increase based on the amount of monies that are available that we receive through the motor fuel tax. So that is a promising note. But like I said, this is a program that is solely funded through the motor fuel tax. 22.2% of motor fuel tax goes into this program to address rural secondary roadways. So, but we'll see come July when the fiscal year turns what the actual numbers will be. But we are looking pretty good right now based on the projections that we have here. So I could take any questions if anyone has any for making your motions.
Any court members have any questions? Paul?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused in a way. The rural road fund is for state roads.
Correct. It's for state roads. Now, the flex dollars is something that the cabinet does, and what it is based on the conditions of the roadways in each county. You know, we do a maintenance rating. In Madison County, it's rated as B. So we do allow sharing the 20% of the rural secondary road fund to be addressed to address county roadways. But yes, that portion is intended for the rural secondary roadways. And I don't know if everyone has in their meeting packet the form that we usually use. There is a map on that form, and the rural secondary roads on that map are the ones that are highlighted in yellow. It's the functional classification of roadways.
So we can use up to 20% of the fund for our own county roads?
20% of the initial distribution, that's correct.
Which Paul, this year, that amount equals out to about 285,000. And in the past, the county has always chosen to basically flex that money over to county roads, and then the state. So the state, if we didn't want that money for our county roads, the state would actually do a section of Barnes Mill Road. But we've always flexed that money over to use actually on our county roads. And that is really actually part of the roads that, you know, you'll be determined in your district. That's part of that funding that we use.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? All right. Seeing none. So I want to clarify the way we've done our resolution. If y'all should have a copy of it in front of you. My recommendation would be number one, it would be yes. And number two would be no. And so when I get a motion and a second, that's what we would actually be voting on, is that we recommend the routes that's been recommended to us on the fiscal year 2022 rural secondary funding. And then we will not use the flex funds on the state recommended road, that we would flex those to use on county roads. Do I have a motion and a second? Paul?
I make a motion that we pass resolution 2021-39 with number one being yes, and number two no.
Thank you, Paul. John Tudor.
I'll second that motion. motion, Judge.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Tom Bucket?
Judge, the only discussion I've got is I know in the past that we have done that with the flex funds pretty much every year since we've been in office. I will just say this, that section of Barnes Mill that they are talking about was one of the first sections that was blacktopped in the last cycle. So we're talking about that's been 4 or 5 years. That was pretty much one of the first years that we got in office when that happened. And that section of it, the 2.2 miles, has deteriorated and is in need of some blacktop. There's several places where patching has been done on it that's just rougher than a cob. You hit them and you think your front end's going to come out from under your ride. So that's my only concern on that one.
Okay. Maybe Casey and Fred and Shane can pass along to Brandon and maybe get some patching done.
Yeah, we actually we have Corey Thomas here and Clyde Newcomer.
Oh, I didn't see them. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, they're out there at the maintenance and construction side of things. So.
Well, those two areas, Judge, where previous patching was done over there, you could get a few more years out of that if those two sections were smoothed up enough. I get calls on this all the time on those two sections to have, and I've talked to Brandon about this several times, about, just getting that sort of graded down. When the patching was done on it, it just didn't get smoothed down. And there's enough of a lip on both sides of that thing. You hit it, you know it. You sleep, if you're drinking your coffee, you're going to drink a little bit of it on your clothes. I'm just saying, it's pretty rough in a couple of spots.
Right. All right. Thank you, Tom. Raj, did you have something?
I just want to make a comment that my district wasn't even in it as far as getting any of the road money, and I understand that. I'm sure with my memory like it is, there's probably been years in the past that my district was on the list and somebody else's wasn't. Just according to how they choose their roads. But I'm glad to see that we got what we got, even though there's none of it in my district. But it comes around later on, and there's always going to be roads that we can't get to because we can't put them all in there in 1 year. I understand Tom's side of it too. I remember one time we had a very heated discussion in a court meeting years ago when I think Larry was left out, and it don't feel good sometimes to think somebody else is getting all the money, but that's not the way it happens. It goes around and comes around.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
I appreciate your understanding, and part of on that map that we use, we circle the roadways that we have taken care of in the past 10 fiscal years, and it's really to demonstrate how we have spread the money in the past 10 fiscal years. So, but yeah, we do appreciate that understanding. Being able to distribute dollars throughout every magistrate district it can get pretty inefficient as far as utilizing the rural secondary funds. So we do like to try to group them up in longer sections and then try to get through all of them, in a reasonable resurfacing cycle time frame. So,
Thank you.
Judge, I will just like to add that the section on 2881, the Cal East, that was a section that last year when the funds were done on that I recommended that they look at that this year. Because it's pretty bad in a couple of places, especially in one of them is in a sharp curve where there's accidents all the time there. And so I appreciate them considering that this year.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Thanks, Roger. John?
Judge, I'd just like to ask a question and thank the guys prioritizing the roads and on the most needed road out there. But if we choose not put the fund in the Barnes Mill, what's the cycle before they would get back to maybe looking into doing something with that road?
Casey, did you understand? I know it was a little choppy. Did you understand his question?
Yeah, I think the concern was Barnes Mill Road and what we'd be able to do probably in the near future.
I think Casey, just to make sure you understand his question, I think what he's saying is if we're choosing to flex that money to county roads, then will the Barnes Mill project, like how soon would you all actually put it in your recommended RS projects? So would you actually take Barnes Mill and move it to one of your recommended projects next year?
Corey, if you're on the line, would you be able to answer that question? I'd defer that to you.
Honestly, I think that we could do some strip patching on Barnes Mill and get it looking pretty good. It's on our priority list. I'm not going to promise it'll be next year, especially if we can strip patch it this year and actually strip patch it correctly, get some of those trouble spots fixed. But if we can't get it fixed, then it would obviously, be priority for us, because usually whatever routes we recommend to you all, we're going to end up doing ourselves here within the couple of years at the very least, because they're bad enough condition that if y'all want to throw a little bit of money at them, we'd love it. But if not, we've identified them ourselves and we know they need to be taken care of. So if you all don't use the flex funds on it, which is fine, we'll try to strip patch it. And if that don't work, then I don't know that it'll be next year, but it would be within the next couple of years that we would definitely get it taken care of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Tom?
Just so that they know, I would be glad to go out with any of them at any time to show them the two areas there that I have concern about.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. All right. Any other questions? And thank you, Corey. Thanks for being on today. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-39. At this time, Clerk Barger, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bodkin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Casey, Corey, Clyde, Fred, and Shane, thank you all for being here today. It's always good to have you all on, even if it's not in person. This is the second best thing. So, and Casey, I'll be signing the Rural Secondary Program form, and I'll be emailing it to you. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to take a picture and text it to me, whichever works, that'll be fine. That'll work.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Judge. And Judge, just want to let everyone know I'm your new rural roads rep. And so I'm at your service. Anything I can do to help any of the magistrates or yourself, please don't hesitate to contact me. My cell phone is 502-229-9041.
Thanks, Fred. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you again. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, next is Resolution 2021-40. This is the fiscal year 22 general ASAP grant. And I think Laura Nagel is on with us. Good morning, Laurel.
Hello
Laura.
again, everybody.
It's good to see you.
Glad to be back.
A resolution confirming the Madison County Fiscal Court to serve as the applicant agent for the fiscal year 22 general ASAP grant and authorizing the judge executive to sign on behalf of the county. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, at the request of the Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy, assists in providing resources to enhance the health and well-being of the general public. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court will act as the applicant agent for the Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy to make an application to the Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet Office of Drug Control Policy for assistance to affect alcohol and substance abuse issues in Madison County and to increase drug prevention and awareness activities funded by the program. And whereas the Madison County ASAP funding request is limited to $20,000 for the 2022 Agency for Substance Abuse Policy funding year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court assists the Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy, acting as the fiscal agent for the purpose of providing services necessary for the program fiscal operation of the agency. And be it further resolved that in the event a grant is awarded, the Madison County Fiscal Court understands that it will sign assurances to comply with all applicable federal and state laws, rules, and regulations, especially Title VI of the Civil Rights Act and Section 504 of the 1973 Rehabilitation Act. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-40? Roger?
So moved.
Tom?
Second, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Laura, would you like to speak on behalf of our ASAP board? Appreciate
Yeah,
your
I'd love
leadership
to.
there as well.
So thank you. I was here a couple weeks ago, and you all approved the resolution to apply for the FY22 harm reduction grant. We get to apply for 2 grants every year. The harm reduction grant is the one that we focus on things like naloxone, things like that. This general ASAP grant we can use for prevention, education, awareness, treatment. So we've got a lot more wiggle room with this one. So that's why I'm back 2 meetings in a row, because we have 2 separate grant applications.
Thank you, Laura. And fiscal court members, in your packet, you all should have seen a narrative of what the budget that ASAP is looking at. Do we have any questions?
Just a comment, Judge. It looks like there's a very good distribution of those funds this year, and we appreciate that, Laura.
Yeah, absolutely.
We so appreciate you all, but I think we're one of the few ASAP boards who's had the same fiscal agent since we began. You guys have been our fiscal agent since 2002, so we very much appreciate y'all.
Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we do have a motion and a second. Clerk Barger, please call the roll.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Laura. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thanks you all.
All right, next, Resolution 2021-41. This is our fiscal year 22 county road aid agreement. Willie Willis.
Resolution adopting and approving the execution of a county road aid co-op program contract between the Madison County Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being a part of the county road system. Whereas the fiscal court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in said contract as being part of the county road system, and whereas the fiscal court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated, and now therefore be resolved, the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the fiscal court of Madison County, and the county clerk of Madison County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto.
Thank you, Willie. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-41? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to adopt resolution 2021-41.
Thank you, John. Do I have a second? Roger?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Everybody's had a chance to review our agreement with the Transportation Cabinet. I do want to mention that we always participate in the emergency program, which 3% of approximately our 1.5 million that will be allocated to us in our county road aid. Approximately 3% of that will actually be part of our emergency funds. That when we have situations that come up, floods, damage by storms, if we have road slipping, what have you, we are able to access those emergency funds and apply for those. We've always participated in that program in the past, and it really has been a great program to be a part of because we've had some of those slips, Willie, as you well know, Master, you all know, that we're able to utilize some of that emergency funding. So, any questions? Any comments? All right, seeing none. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next, we have Resolution 2021-42. This is a Valley View Ferry Board appointment. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of the Valley View Ferry Board members, and whereas the current term for Melinda Jones is set to expire May 9th, 2021, and whereas Melinda Jones has proven her capability in serving as a Valley View Ferry Board member and is willing to continue serving in this capacity, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Melinda Jones as fit for the position as board member of Valley View Ferry Board. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Melinda Jones as a Valley View Ferry Board member. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-42? Roger.
I'd like to make that motion. I also like to make a comment that Melinda is a very vital part of our ferry board. She grew up in that area and her family still lives there. They've used the ferry quite a bit in their years, but she's a good member.
Thanks, Roger. I do have a motion. John Tudor.
I second that motion, Judge.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All right. Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor. Judge Taylor.
He said yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Next on the agenda, we have personnel at our golf course. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, everyone. I have two new hires for your consideration today. And just to let you know, I'll have one more for the next fiscal court meeting. And we will be fully staffed, both up at the clubhouse and on the grounds crew. And hopefully we won't lose anyone. That will be my last time asking to hire someone. The first one today, pending his pre-employment, is Ronaldo Alejandro, the seasonal grounds crew, salary of $9.50 an hour, start date of 4/14/2021, and he is a new seasonal employee.
Thank you, Gary. Do I have a motion and a second on the recommendation from Gary Vanderhoff? Tom?
Judge, hang on just a second, lost my spot there. Motion to approve Ronaldo Alejandro for a seasonal grounds crew at $9.50 an hour beginning on April the 14th, 2021.
Thanks, Tom. Do I have a second? John Tudor.
Second that, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
All right, and the second one is William Carr, seasonal grounds crew, $9.50 an hour, start date of 4/14/2021, and he is a returning seasonal employee.
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation by Gary? Roger?
Make a motion to hire William Carr.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Paul. Thank you all. Any discussion? All right. Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. Next is judge's report. Just got a few announcements. One is our final cutoff to schedule tree debris pickup will be April the 15th before 4:30 p.m. After that time, no new pickups will be scheduled. Please visit our website at madisoncountyky.us or contact the Solid Waste Department at 859-624-4709 to schedule your pickup. There will be a downtown Richmond clean sweep on Friday, April the 23rd from 12 noon until 3 p.m. There will be several areas to cover. For more information and registration sites, please contact or call or text Rose Rex at 859-559-0032. Effective Monday, April the 26th, 2021, Madison County residents will be able to obtain all in-person driver's license, real ID, and ID services through the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's driver's licensing regional office, which is located in the Old Richmond Mall. Please visit www.drive.ky.gov for more information or to schedule an appointment. You will no longer come to the Madison County Courthouse for your driver's license or other forms of governmental ID. So remember that date, April the 26th, 2021, you will no longer come to the Madison County Courthouse to do driver's license. You will actually go to the Richmond Mall, and that department is now under the state's transportation cabinet. Registration for Richmond Parks and Recreation 2021 Summer Camp is now open. Please see their website for this year's camp themes and schedules. Again, that's the Richmond Parks and Recreation 2021 Summer Camp. Our county parks are up and running, but there is one thing I would like to remind people of, and visitors and people that use our park, is to help us with using the trash cans for your trash. Or just if you're walking and you see somebody's dropped a cup or a piece of trash, please pick it up. Help us keep our parks beautiful. They're used a bunch. It's wonderful to go out there and to see all the people and the constituents that actually use our parks, walking trails, they're fishing, they're playing on the playgrounds. Let's all do our part in trying to keep our parks beautiful. The Tasty Tuesdays food truck event will be every Tuesday at Irvin McDowell Park. It's been going on for the last several Tuesdays, and it looks like there's good turnouts. Please remember that at the Irvin McDowell Park. If you're out and about and want a good supper from 5 to 8, that will be going on through October. Preliminary plans is the last thing. Preliminary plans for Berea's 2021 Spoon Bread Festival in September is in the process of starting up. I know last year due to COVID, we weren't able to have the Spoon Bread Festival. But this year, if you would like to help out, or if you even want a booth, please contact the Berea Chamber of Commerce. Next is comments from magistrates. I'm going to start with Paul Reynolds today. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Thank you. I was going to mention that the Spoon Bread is, I think, coming back alive this year and needs a lot of help. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. It's a wonderful event. It always has been. So I'm glad we're getting somewhat back to normal. Let's go with John Tudor.
Thank you, Judge. Just a few to mention here. The magistrates all were at a training conference in Lexington this past week and got some new ideas and listened to some good speakers. Always good to go to these training conferences, get some ideas how we can better improve our county. The boat ramp at Hills has been cleaned off and it's now open. I've been down there this week and all the sand, debris washed in. We've got it clean and ready to launch your boats down there. So just be careful doing that. I've been working with our road advisor, Willie Willis, and picking out some needed roads that needs blacktop for this coming year. And we've almost got our list completed on that. I'm gonna have a little over 100,000 to be using 3 on that this year. One last thing, the weather's nicer. There'll be a lot of kids out. I got calls this week about some speeding on a couple of roads, and the kids and playing in the yard. So just slow down and watch for kids and playing in the yard and load off and on buses, and don't be speedy. And one last thing, don't be trashing our parks or pick up litter, folks. It helps keep our community and our county so much cleaner and more beautiful. That's all I got, Judge.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Big Raj.
I want to thank Tom first for helping get a little blacktop in an area that me and him share the road on, and we go half and half on it. I always appreciate it when we can cooperate with each other when we see a need to do a road that we don't have the whole road. You know, you got to talk to the other side too. I want to comment on the conference that we went to. I was amazed, some of the rules and regulations that they gave out. Don't be lingering in the halls and talking too much. Try to stay in there in the room, you know, and I'd turn around and look. We was on the front row, and I'd turn around and look, and I was amazed how well the whole group stayed in the room. And of course, everybody get up to go out and get something to drink or go to the restroom or something. But other than that, there wasn't that many in the hallways. But it was just amazing to see how much focus they were on what was going on. Had some good speakers, a well-attended conference too. I think everybody was ready to get out and see each other. Us 4 magistrates, we had a good time being able to talk together and share ideas and thoughts. That's all I got.
Thank you, Raj. Tom Bakken.
Yes, sir. Just got a few things here today. We are working on the blacktop roads this year, and we've made decisions. But Roger made a very good point. You know, in the past, we all have areas where that we share the same road. One of us will have one side of the road, the other have the other side of the road, and so when we get to blacktop in those areas, we do split the cost on those. Crutcher Pike is a road where that we did last year. We did that. We shared some funds on that, and we got a good portion of that blacktop. And this year, due to the bridge being out done on the Tates Creek area, we're going to do the same thing again and blacktop and try to widen as best you can. You know, that's just a very narrow road, but we're going to try to fix what we can down there and share funds and get Crutcher Pike blacktop. We've also chosen for the 4th District, Eagle Drive, and we've also chosen the last one over there for Meadow Ridge Drive. You know, some of those roads, Judge, you know, it's just time. We've talked about this before. We've got subdivisions that are 20 plus, 30 years old, 40 years old in some cases, and you know, in some cases the roads in some of those has never been blacktop. And so, you know, they're getting in a very bad state of repair. And, you know, Meadow Ridge is one that's a very big subdivision, has a lot of roads in it. And unfortunately, 1 year's budget will not blacktop the whole thing. And I hate to split roads up. I hate to go in and start in a subdivision and get to a point where you have to stop in it. But that's the case this year over in Meadow Ridge. We're going to blacktop Meadow Ridge from the Barnes Mill back to Summer Glen. And if we, you know, run into additional funds somewhere, you know, we'll try to finish that up. But $24,000, almost $25,000 is going on Eagle Drive. Almost $17,000 for Crutcher Pike that Roger and I are going to share, and then almost $33,000 on the Meadow Ridge Drive. You know, there's some other requests that we had this year. Just want to talk about them briefly. It was out on Turner Ridge. I went out and looked at that, and you know, that road is just, it's a mess. It needs blacktop, but we've only got so much money. We can only go so far with it. Another one that I looked at pretty hard was over in the Galloway Lane over in Berea, and also the Mountain View Estates. Both of those areas are subdivisions that are just really old that need the roads repaired. And so if we get more funds, we'll try to catch those up and get those done. I also wanted to, Judge, just to make a thank you. We had some trash and limb pickup, I think, out at Battlefield this past weekend, and there were 3 Boy Scout organizations that came out there. Troop 118, which their scoutmaster is Mike Hale. They are based out of St. Mark's. They came. Troop 401, their troop master is Kevin Hurt. They're out of the 1st Presbyterian. And we also had Cub Scout Pack 401, and their master is Nick Beach, and they are based out of Whitehall Elementary. And, you know, that is just some of those organizations. Nick Beach and I have spoken in the past about getting some things like that done and helping out in the community. And they've planted trees and they've done all kind of things that, you know, just teach those young men responsibility. It's a great organization. We're just so thrilled that they can go out and be a part of that and help with that cleanup. Our road department, you know, limbs has kind of dominated the, every time we talk about it, this has been limbs and limbs and more limbs. They're kind of getting caught up a little bit on that. And we've gotten, I know we've all had, but I've had several projects that we put in the work order list, and they're catching up on those things. And so, you know, if you've asked me to do something there a couple of weeks ago, or 3 or 4, whatever that case might be, the road department is going to start hopefully catching up on some of those projects. Judge, I want to take just a second to thank J.C. Young. He's executive director of the Kentucky Magistrates and Commissioners Association. And also want to thank Representative Deanna Frazier. You know, during the last legislative session, JC, he's up there every day fighting for things that benefit, bills that benefit the county. And you know, we would be at a loss without that. Deanna Frazier, you know, she lets us know, and she's aware if there's something that we need to know about as magistrates that affect our areas, that we can contact her, and she'll go up and push and fight for those bills as well. And also, Judge, I want to just go ahead and thank you. You know, you're up there now as the president of the Judges Association, and we appreciate all the work that you do up there, because I know all of that is hand to hand. I know that you've testified to the Senate and those commissions up there, and we appreciate your work on that. And then once again, we were all in training last week, and you know, I think John said it, we learn something every time we go. You know, you go to training sessions, and sometimes you hear the same thing, but I've never been to one yet in 6 years that I didn't learn something and walk out of something new up there. So we're thankful that we can go to that. Judge, last thing, if anyone needs me, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Appreciate each one of you magistrates, your reports today. Kenny, do you have anything that you want to add? No, Brooke, it's good to see you, Brooke.
Good to see you, Judge.
Yeah. Sheriff, you good? All right. Any comments from department heads? And Chris, no public comments today still? All right. All right. Next, need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers. John Tudor? So move. Do I have a second? Roger?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers. If there's, Tom? And Tom, you're muted, just FYI.
I'm live in living color now, though. Ain't it? Dustin on today.
Yes.
I saw there was one line in the claim that I just wanted to ask about. It was for a $5,635 charge for SendMan Essential software. I wonder if he'd tell us what that is.
Sure. Dustin?
Yeah, you bet. So we have a simulated mannequin that does a lot of medical functions and allows responders and hospital staff to really do live patient care. The mannequin can talk. You can talk through the mannequin. It breathes.
It's as real as it possibly can get. And that software is just needing an upgrade on that.
Okay, good deal. Well, I got a little curious about that one. It's a unique name for one, but thank you for clarifying that up.
You bet.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Dustin. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
lost my place. Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next meeting is April the 27th, 2021. Right back here on Zoom. Again, our next meeting will be April 27th, 2021 at 9:30 in the morning, right back here on Zoom. Need a motion and a second to adjourn. Tom?
So move, Judge.
Paul?
Second.
I'm gonna have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor. Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all very much. Appreciate each and every one of you. Everybody have a wonderful rest of the week. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.